who will be the next Zoneman. Verdell Jones from Lakeview. Duran Lawson from Conway. Lawrence Timmons from Wilson. Quentin Young from West Florence. The 2003 WPDE News Channel 15 Sports Zoneman is next.
Good evening and welcome to WPDE's 4th annual All Zone Banquet. I'm Sports Director Rich Krampanis. Over the next hour, we'll salute an outstanding 2003 high school football season with 45 players selected by the WPDE sports staff. In addition, we'll present the 4th annual Zoneman Award. We'll have a full detail of our 4 finalists and present the award at the end of the show. But for now, let's meet these outstanding 45 student athletes, starting with the quarterbacks and running backs.
Brandon Elliott was the runaway winner for the passing crown in WPDE Stat Zone. With over 2,000 yards in the air, the Wilson signal caller had a ratio of better than 2-to-1 in touchdowns to interceptions. His arm was the starting point for Wilson's air show. Reggie Godbolt will represent Mullins as a North-South All-Star in the secondary, but the Auctioneers athlete was one of the Palmetto State's outstanding running quarterbacks. Godbolt vaulted the Aux to a region title in 2003. John Green was a big reason for Sockesty's much-improved season. Running the wishbone offense to perfection, Green galloped for 874 yards on the ground and threw for 939 to pace the Braves to a 7-win campaign. Duran Lawson was the engineer of another double-digit win season for the Conway Tigers. The senior signal caller is a Zoneman finalist. Jonathan Gainey teamed up with junior D'Antonio Lewis to form a deadly ground attack in Cheraw. The duo combined for over 2,000 yards on the ground. Gainey topped 6 yards a carry and a dozen TDs in the regular season. Charldrick Charger Grays provided the spark for Dillon's offense. Chargers' straight-ahead bulldozing runs became the norm on Friday nights at Dillon Memorial Stadium. Graves averaged over 7 yards a carry and topped 2 amazing milestones, 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns in a season. Jermaine Holmes is the first ever Green Sea Floyd's Trojan to make the All-Zone team. The super sophomore nicknamed Lightning showed his flashes of brilliance all season long, piling up 1,447 yards, 19 touchdowns, and dazzling special teams work with 3 returns for scores. Verdell Jones is one of 2 Lakeview Wild Gators on the All-Zone team and a 2003 Zoneman finalist. Bobby Wallace is one of 5 Conway Tigers on the All-Zone team. The junior finished in a tie for 4th in the Zoneman balloting with fellow running back Charger Grays of Dillon. Wallace was a game breaker for Conway's 10-win regular season, topping 1,500 yards and finding the end zone 17 times. And West Florence running back Quentin Young joins Verdell Jones as a Zoneman finalist. We'll profile him and all the other Zoneman candidates later in the show.
A great group of talented athletes behind me. Throughout the evening, Walt Lehman and Mark Haggard will be catching up with some of the great names of this 2003 high school football season. Walt is with one of the most improved teams in the area, Sockesty, and quarterback John Green. Walter?
All right, thanks a lot, Rich. That's right. John Green and the Sockesty Braves, what a job they did this year. And, John, why don't you talk about the biggest change probably, which was going to that wishbone offense?
Yeah, we Coach Williams came in and Coach Renfro and I brought in the wishbone and we just ran the option and tried to run it the best we could and it worked. And I don't know, we started a tradition there. That's what Coach Renfro always wanted to do, and maybe we can start it this year and get better.
Now, being a senior, it had to be pretty exciting. You went through a couple down years, but going into this season, you guys put in that offense, and you guys put up a lot of points, and being the quarterback, obviously, that's great. But talk a little bit about how exciting it was that Sockesty Braves football was finally put back on the map.
Yeah, usually people think about Sockesty as a basketball school, and all the football players, we wanted it to be, football, and they got real excited when we started, I think we started 5-0, and so all the school was real excited and the community and stuff, so it was real exciting.
All right, that was John Green, Sockesty Brave quarterback. Mark, I'm going to send it over to you with Coach Renfro.
Joining me now is John Green's head coach, Tim Renfro. Tim, your first season at Sockesty, you took over a team that was 4-7 the year before. turning it into a 7-4 team. Great improvement.
Well, we felt like we've made some progress. We've got a long way to go, but people like John Green helped the progress a lot, and we were lucky to have him this year at quarterback, and we're blessed to have him and some athletes that really worked hard.
Now, you're an old Lakeview athlete, and I understand that you are the only man in the history of Lakeview, that proud school history, to have his number retired, and now you bring that wishbone over to Sockastee. Big things happened this year, a huge win over Marlboro County.
It was a big, anytime you beat Dean Boyd and Marlboro County Bulldogs, it's a big win, and again, it showed we've made some progress. We aren't there yet, but we look forward to next year and hope to make some more progress.
A fantastic year at Sockastee High. That's head coach Tim Renfro. Rich, now let's send it back to you.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Let's step away. When we come back, we'll meet the wide receivers and offensive line. That's when our 4th annual All-Zone Banquet continues right after this. Welcome back to the 4th annual All-Zone Banquet here at Wild Wing Plantation. Coming up later in the show, the presentation of the 2003 Zoneman. We continue to honor the top 45 players in our area. Here's a look at the All-Zone receivers.
One of the best-kept secrets in the Zone Nation is Kingstree's Al Cunningham. The dual threat topped 100 tackles on defense and added 33 catches for 631 yards and 7 touchdowns. Justin Durant averaged over 20 yards a catch for the South Florence Bruins, hauling in 8 touchdowns and showing great concentration week in and week out when the ball was thrown his way. There's another great Graves and Dillon. Keon is a diamond in the rough. When Jackie Hayes called his number on offense, big things happened. He had 14 catches, 5 of them for scores, and averaged over 26 yards a catch. Eric Huggins is only a junior, which is good news for Chuck Jordan and Conway Tiger fans. Durand Lawson's top target was the area's leader in touchdown receptions, catching 40 balls in the regular season. Lawrence Timmons makes his 2nd straight appearance on the All-Zone team in our receiving corps. Timmons is a 2003 Zoneman finalist. Dustin Skipper is our All-Zone tight end. The Shrine Bowler was part of one of South Carolina's top units on the offensive line and showed great hands in hauling in Durand Lawson offerings.
Thanks a lot, Rich. That's right, Dustin Skipper of the Conway Tigers, and let's get right to it. You played in 3 state championships. What a heck of an accomplishment. Talk about going to 3 straight state championship games.
It feels good, you know, making it that far, but if we'd have brought one of them home, it'd have felt a lot better. But I've been part of great teams the last 3 years, and it's been fun.
Talk about this high-powered Conway offense. You've got a quarterback in Durand Lawson. You got Mr. Huggins. You got Bobby Wallace in the backfield, and then you're blocking, you're catching passes. It's got to be pretty fun being a tight end on this team.
Yeah, I've been a tackle the last couple of years, and moving to tight end this year has been a real joy for me. But we've, you know, we got Durand, Eric, Bobby, and the line, and we just got a good offense.
You got 5 Conway Tigers on this team. Talk about what that means to have so many players on a team like this.
Well, that means we're a talented team, and, you know, we got a lot of talent.
All right. Well, Rich, a talented tight end on a talented team with a talented head coach. It's great. I'm going to send it over to Mark Haggard.
Thanks, Walt. It's my pleasure now to let us talk to West Florence head coach Jeff Calabrese. Coach, you really have retooled this West Florence Knights team in 3 years there, now with a 13-2 record. What did you do to yourself? Now everyone's going to expect you to go to the playoffs every year and go to state finals.
Well, I'm out here looking for a job to be an assistant coach because I don't know if it's going to get any better than that. But we have some great players, and those kids have done everything we asked them to do every day, and I'm very impressed with them.
First time ever in school history you go to the state playoffs. And then you go all the way to Columbia, and you beat a very, very good Dillon squad. Did you have to kind of pinch yourself?
Well, I don't believe we, you know, the whole thing, the intercept, the fumble return for a touchdown. It just, it was a dream season. Things just seemed to fall right for us, and like I said, I'm just very proud of the young men and the coaches on the team.
You have the old night out there on Friday nights, people painting their chests. It's a whole new deal out there at West Florence.
There's no question it was pretty low when we got there, and they are very excited, and rightfully so. They deserve the success as much as the kids on the team, so we're very happy for our program, very happy for our high school and community.
Thanks, and thanks for being here tonight. Jeff Calabrese, the head coach of West Florence High. Rich, let's send it back to you.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we've got to find some blocking for this offense. We'll meet the 2003 offensive line when our all-zone special continues right after this. Welcome back to the show. It's time to salute the unsung heroes of Friday nights. Let's meet the 2003 all-zone offensive line.
Jeremy Burgess is heading to the Shrine Bowl. The Loras offensive lineman opened many a hole for Chris Wilson in the Lions' ground attack. Burgess was an early commitment to Lou Holtz and the South Carolina Gamecocks. Aubrey Calhoun becomes the fourth ladder gritter to score an all-zone honor. The Vikings leader on the line provided some key senior leadership for a team that had youngsters in the skill positions. North Myrtle Beach's Michael Clarity brings 315 pounds of strength and speed to our offensive line. The Chiefs' earth mover was a critical part of Steve Hart's tricky wing T attack. Junior Jamarcus Grant stands 6'4", 315 pounds, and is one of the originators of Mullen's nickname of the Headbusters. Grant covers the 40 in 5 seconds flat and will be coveted by major college programs in 2005. Marlboro County's Hawk Grooms joined some rare company. The Shrine Bowler is one of 10 players in history to be named a 2-time all-zone selection. Nigel Pearson is part of a stout offensive line at Darlington High School. Pearson's on-the-field accomplishments are only overmatched by his classroom work. The senior holds a 3.8 GPA. Another stellar student-athlete is Myrtle Beach senior Aviv Shama. The Harvard hopeful was the top-graded-out lineman on the Seahawks.
With me now is Mullen's offensive lineman, Jamarcus Grant, 6'4", 315 pounds. I'm going to nickname you the Earth Mover. You're a big kid.
Thank you. We just bring a lot to the offensive line for Mullins. We know Coach Cromer depended on us to do what we had to do this year, so in the offseason we trained hard, and season came in, we did what we had to do.
Now talk about the HBA a little bit. You told us about it when you guys were in the Zone studio. Tell us what the HBA is.
The HBA is mainly our defense. You know, we bring a lot to it. We have to set things for our offense. So if the offense will run off the defense. The defense do good, and offense, we get offense something to hope for.
Now, Rich Krampanis watches VH1 a lot. I watch MTV. Rich Krampanis calls it the Headbusters Association. Now, how exactly do you pronounce it?
It's the Headbusters Association.
There you go, Headbusters. So, Rich, remember that. It's the Headbusters, not the Headbusters. You've got to watch the MTV for that. Now, talk about Mullins a little bit. You guys had a great season. Talk about the season you guys had.
We had a great season. Coach Cromer, he lines up us a hard schedule every year, but that's just to prepare us for the playoffs. You know, we go to practice every day, play hard, practice hard, and hopefully go to state championship, but we'll get it sometime.
All right, sounds good. Jamarcus Grant from Mullins High School. Mark, I'm going to send it over to you and Chuck Jordan.
Thanks, Walt. It's my pleasure now to introduce you to Darlington head coach Phil Magdick and Conway head coach Chuck Jordan. Let's start with Coach Phil, because Darlington is a team that he inherited with a 1-9 record the year before, finished 6-6 this year. What's the magic going on in Darlington?
Well, that wasn't much magic. We just asked the kids when we came in, beginning of the summer, to work hard, get in the weight room, improve our strength. Did a lot of summer conditioning, and it seemed that the kids bought into it and worked hard, and we were successful.
Improve your strength. Hoss, looks like you got some pipes going here. What do you bench?
Oh, not much. I'm an old man anymore. It'll break me in half.
Yeah, I bet you do about 400. Now, Conway head coach Chuck Jordan, boy, where do we start? You're the North-South head coach, coach of the Conway High Tigers, three state final championship appearances.
Well, I think like any other season, you want to win your last game. And yet I think it's important to have the opportunity to play in it. And I think that these kids this season really had a big monkey on their back, because a lot of, they had played for 2 state championships, and we had 8 seniors that had started in both of those games. And it was very difficult for them to kind of carry that around. And their goal was to go back and win a state championship. And to see them get that opportunity for a third time is something I think we'll always remember.
Well, good luck in North-South tomorrow. Both these gentlemen have players playing in that game this Saturday. Rich, let's send it back to you.
When we come back, we'll go to the other side of the ball and meet the 2003 All-Zone defense. That's when our All-Zone special continues right after this. Welcome back to our 2003 All-Zone Banquet here at Wild Wing Plantation. Coming up a little bit later in the show, we'll meet the 4 finalists for the Zoneman. But now it's time to turn to defense. Let's meet the defensive line and linebackers.
Andrews' Derek Cumbie won the WPDE Stat Zone Sacks crown with 14 to go with 98 tackles. Cumbie was part of an Andrews defense that gave up just over 14 points a game as part of an improved 5-win campaign. Karibi Gauze is one of 2 Conway Tigers heading to the Shrine Bowl. College recruiters covered this combination of speed and power. Gauze had the ability to penetrate into opponents' backfields and wreak havoc. Jeremy Geathers joins Derek Cumbie as the first Yellow Jackets to receive All-Zone honors. Geathers drew the tough double-team assignments. His potential and raw talent have colleges calling this second-generation star. Jeremy had 98 tackles and 10 sacks in 2003. Marcus Kennedy represents Georgetown on the All-Zone roster. The 6'2", 280-pound two-way lineman is just a junior, and he's on the radar of many college programs. Sammy Milton continues the rich tradition of Carver's Bay Bears on the All-Zone team that include current college stars Robert Geathers and DeAdrian Coley. Milton is a North-South All-Star at running back, but he's just as valuable on defense, where he punished many in offense. Marion's Joel Reeves caught the eye of many opposing 3A coaches for his size and speed. Reeves had 53 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and caused 4 fumbles along with a blocked punt for the Swamp Foxes. Marlborough County's Robert Ayers is one of the most highly touted linebacking prospects in the nation. Ayers recorded 107 tackles and 3 interceptions in his senior season. He'll represent South Carolina in the Shrine Bowl on December 20th. West Florence's Forrest Cronia is one of 3 Knights on the 2003 All-Zone squad. The 6'4", 235-pound senior had 71 tackles and 7.5 sacks in the regular season. He was one of the key contributors to West Florence's region crown. Jerson Davis was one of the leaders of a Hemingway defense that pitched 5 shutouts in 2003. Besides 533 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns on offense, Davis recorded 88 first tackles at linebacker. Hartsville's Lee Gainey was the man in the middle for Louis Lineberger's defense. Gainey and the Foxes broke through with 7 wins in 2003, one of the area's most underrated teams. Lamont Gibson led the way for the Sherrod defense. The Braves enjoyed another great season and once again went toe-to-toe with the best in the state. Gibson was one of the catalysts with 94 tackles in the regular season. The regular season leader in tackles was Marion's Marshall Hemingway. The Swamp Foxes stopper seemed to be everywhere on the field. Head coach Marty McIntyre turned to this senior for leadership all year long. And Randy Jeffrey was an All-Zone pick in 2001, but a knee injury kept him off last year's team. Thanks to hard work and dedication in the offseason, Jeffrey is back for a second appearance on the All-Zone team. The Silver Foxes' 2A star was able to find the zone on the ground and stop opponents' offenses at linebacker.
With me now is Sammy Milton, the linebacker for Carver's Bay. And Sammy, talk about Carver's Bay football a little bit. I've driven out there. Every time I ask directions, they say you can't get there from here. Talk a little about Carver's Bay.
It's a good school. We go to practice, we work hard. It's in the middle of nowhere, and our coach stays on us all the time.
Talk about Coach Thompson a little bit. We nicknamed him the Baby Bear. We talk about him all the time with his hand in the honey jar and all that, but what a heck of a coach. You know, he's a little guy with a huge heart. He's a great coach. Talk about Coach Thompson a little bit.
You're right. He do look like a bear, but he stays on us and always tell us never to give up.
Now, you're a heck of a runner, but you hit like a Mack truck. Talk about, where'd you get that toughness from?
My granddaddy.
Your granddaddy?
He always had me doing something on Saturday, chopping wood or something.
All right. Well, Sammy Milton here with us, Carver's Bay linebacker. Mark, I'm going to send it over to you.
Thanks, Walt. With me now is Ralph Harrell, the head coach of Hemingway High School, and now a change of an era because you're retiring after this season.
Yeah, 30 years. There's a rumor out there that I'm retiring because Tootie Boot has a little brother named Scooty Boot. I just want to make this known tonight. It's the truth. I am retiring for that reason.
224 career victories over that 30-year span. That's just incredible. What will you remember the most about your career?
I think the personal relationships you build with players over the years, and they get coming back to you. I'll miss that.
You finished business. You beat your arch rival, Johnsonville, in your final couple of games last year and again this year.
Well, Curtis does a great job over there, and I wish him all the best of luck.
Do you really? You always want to beat Johnsonville. It's kind of like Lamar.
Well, I lied about the Tootie Boot thing, too.
All right. Well, you're going to be retiring, and I understand you like to dance, and you do that dance called the shag.
Yeah, I got a great partner, my wife, of 32 years, and she makes me look good.
Well, you enjoy retirement. Rich, let's send it back to you.
No question about it, a great foundation for a defense standing behind me. It's time to step away. When we come back, we'll wrap up the 45-man all-zone team with the defensive backs and the kicker. We'll return to Wild Wing Plantation right after this. Welcome back to the 4th Annual All-Zone Awards here at Wild Wing Plantation. We round out our 45-man roster with a look at the defensive backs and kicker.
Antonio Bellamy is representing Carolina Forest in the Shrine Bowl. Bellamy had 5 interceptions in 2003 and made some big plays as a wide receiver. Shante Burgess was Johnsonville's three-way threat, stepping up for the Flashes in every facet of the game. Burgess was a difference maker with 10 touchdowns, 7 rushing, 2 receiving, and a 99-yard interception return for a score. Travis Cannon's heading to the North-South All-Star Game after turning heads at South Florence. One of the area's top kick returners, Cannon had 5 interceptions and over 250 yards receiving. Darian Ford is Lakeview's signal caller, and he'll play for Chuck Jordan in the secondary for the South squad this Saturday. Ford was able to read opposing quarterbacks and step in to make the big play. Lamar's Michael Hamlin is being coveted by such major college programs as Tennessee, South Carolina, and Clemson. The two-way high school star is considered a blue-chip safety. He had 3 interceptions despite many coaches wisely staying away from his side of the field in 2003. Marcus Harkless emerged as a secondary star for Phil Magnick's Darlington Falcons. He tied for the area lead in interceptions with 8 on the regular season and chipped in with 38 tackles. Timmonsville's Philip Morris was his own version of a whirlwind. The man they call Lil Vic will play DB for the North this Saturday at Doug Shaw Stadium, but also showed the versatility to throw, run, and catch the ball for Bill Tate on offense. For the second straight year, West Florence's Matt Stafford was one of the Palmetto State leaders in interceptions. With 8 picks in the regular season, Stafford is rewarded with an all-zone honor. James Palacino continues the tradition of great kickers at North Myrtle Beach High. Palacino booted 2 field goals from 49 yards out this year, but even more impressive was his kickoffs. He consistently kicked the ball in the end zone, disallowing any return game from the opponent.
Here with Lamar, wide receiver and defensive back Michael Hamlin. And first of all, let's get this out of the way. Look at the 2 rings on his finger. Baseball and football state championships. It's a lot of bling-bling on those fingers.
Yes, sir. Lamar is a school where athletes always work, so work pays off.
Talk about this back-to-back state football championships 2 years in a row. You go in, you beat a tough school like Lakeview. That's pretty special.
Yes, sir. Lamar has a great group of football players, so we work hard all summer, and like I said, first time work pays off.
Now, there's a great line of Lamar players that have come through the all-zone ranks, so it's got to be pretty special to be put on this team.
Yes, sir. We had a lot of them, so therefore it makes everyone work hard and want to be on the all-zone team from Lamar.
All right, now let's get all this hullabaloo out of the way. Where are you going to college?
Undecided. I have to talk to my father and my coach boy.
All right, well, I'm your agent. If you need any help, let me know. All right, Mark, I'm going to send it over to you and head coach J.R. Boyd.
Thanks, Walt. I am standing here with Lamar head football coach J.R. Boyd, and for the 2nd consecutive year, you've won a state championship.
Yes, quite a feeling. It's the good Lord blessed us, and I've had some great athletes, and like Mike said earlier, they just worked and went out and played and did a tremendous job.
Your brother Dean at Marlboro County has 2. Now you've got 2. What's that conversation going to be over Christmas dinner?
I don't know. I'll be in line eating. You can tell Dean doesn't get to eat as much as me and Steve does, so we whoop them at the table every year, so that's just gravy on everything.
How about a three-peat for the Silver Foxes?
Well, again, we'll work hard, and we'll just take one game at a time, and we'll see how far we can go.
You're just afraid Jewel might be listening. Jewel McLaurin, the fine coach at Lakeview, who did a tremendous job in the state finals as well. J.R. Boyd, head coach of Lamar High School. Rich, back to you.
And with this group behind me, it caps off a 45-man roster of our 2003 All-Zone team. But there's much more to come. When we come back, we'll meet the 2003 All-Zone Scholar Athlete. That's when our special continues from Wild Wing right after this. Welcome back to the 2003 All-Zone Awards. I'm Rich Krampanis. It's time now to reveal the 2003 Zone Plays of the Year. The great fans logged on to WPDE.com, over 2,000 voters, and here they are, the Plays of the Year. Congratulations to our winners, and thanks again to everyone who voted on WPDE.com. It's time now for what we consider the most important award of the night. The member of the All-Zone team who not only got it done on the field, but in the classroom as well. Mark Haggard introduces us to our 2003 All-Zone Scholar Athlete.
I grew up in a Jewish private school. That's where I first went to, up until 8th grade. And they stressed academics in that school, and I think I brought that along with me to the high school. Anything I did, I believe anyone else can do. Everything I do is related to Judaism, how I've been brought up, my Jewish parents, and I guess that's basically what it is, what influences you've had in your life, and Judaism is basically the main influence in my life.
The past 2 seasons, he has missed games because football conflicted with the high holy day of Rosh Hashanah.
It's the Jewish New Year, and you go to the synagogue, you pray, you go home, you have a big meal with your family, and it's tradition, and there just isn't time to work in football.
Religion is #1 at lunchtime. Shama eats kosher food while his classmates enjoy a more liberal diet.
I've been to pig pickings. I just don't eat, and it's a lot of fun. But it's not only the pig, but I can, like, beef and lamb and all the animals I can't eat. They have to be killed a certain way, so I can't like go to Food Lion and get meat there. We order all our meat from like New York.
17-year-old Aviv Shama bench presses 335 pounds. He's the strongest player on the Myrtle Beach High football team. At 6'3", 285 pounds, he's also the biggest. His teammates call him Wheezy.
He was running one day and started wheezing real bad, and every time we condition, he makes this sound, and his nickname Wheeze just kind of stuck with him. He even has a personalized tag on his car that says Wheeze.
Oh, really?
So he loves the nickname, too.
Shama remembers when he was introduced to the game of football.
I first came in here to the high school, and they were like, why aren't you playing football? And I was like, football, you know. And I came into the weight room, and I started working out, and at first I wasn't good at all. And I didn't actually know what a stance was, believe it or not. But then my first game, and then the excitement, the adrenaline, you fall in love with the game, and you can't leave.
With an impressive 1340 SAT score and a perfect 4.0 average at Myrtle Beach High, Shama has his sights set on attending Harvard as a business major. Favorite subject in school?
Math, hands down. I love math.
What's the square root of 9?
3.
I think Aviv is probably one of the top 5 or 10 students overall in my 32 years that I've taught. He shows a real outstanding ability to grasp very complex concepts in calculus, which is notorious for being difficult, but not for Aviv.
Congratulations to Myrtle Beach High's Aviv Shama, WPDE All-Zone Scholar Athlete.
Gentlemen, once again, the 2003 All-Zone Scholar Athlete, Aviv Shama. Aviv, obviously you get the work done on the field, and now you get the work done off. This has to be a pretty big honor for you.
Yeah, definitely. It's an honor to be just with all these athletes, and to get Scholar Athletes, also a big honor. Thank you.
Obviously, your religion is big in your life. Talk a little bit about how much that plays a part in this award.
I guess the religion made the foundation for everything I've done in my life, and football just kind of connected everything.
All right, well, once again, Aviv Shama, the 2003 All-Zone Scholar Athlete.
Congratulations to Aviv, who very well could be the first All-Zone Ivy Leaguer. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll meet the 4 finalists for the 2003 Zoneman. That's when our All-Zone special continues from Wild Wing right after this. The waiting is just about over for the 2003 Zoneman, but first, we need to meet 4 amazing athletes. Mark Haggard profiles our Zoneman finalists.
Wilson's Lawrence Timmons, Quinton Young of West Florence, Lakeview's Vernell Jones, and Conway's Durand Lawson are the 2003 Zoneman finalists. Let's meet the 4 horsemen of the End Zone. First stop, Lakeview. Zoneman candidate Vernell Jones. Wild Gators team manager Mostella Rogers gave Vernell his now famous nickname.
Well, I just call it Cootie Boot.
Tootie Boot uses his blazing speed to average nearly 9 yards a carry, scoring 33 touchdowns this season.
When the hole open, I just see it, and I try to make it to the touchdown.
Lakeview players are treated to a steak dinner each Wednesday following a victory. Vernell Jones has eaten more than 40 steaks during his Wild Gator tenure. The Boot doubles as a linebacker. He's quiet, but this young man lets his pads do his talking. You don't like doing interviews, do you? Tootie Boot's football career began at middle school during recess. Now, he's one of the fastest players in the state, running a 4.38 40-yard dash at Clemson camp. His younger brother, Dayton, is called Scooty Boot.
Who's faster, you or Tootie Boot?
He is. He get all the credit. He just make things happen that you never seen before.
We just give Boot the ball, he hits the corner, and he's gone. Like 50 to 60 yards, he's gone. So that's just incredible when he gets that little seam and gets to the outside, and he'll do his little stiff arm, and you think that the defenders have him, but he keeps his legs going, and before you know it, he's in the end zone.
He'll stick that head back when he's got one of his long runs. He's going to try to outrun them, but when that head sticks back, he's hard to catch.
A message on the Gators bulletin board reads, "You are never better than anyone until you prove it. And when you are really good, you never need to tell anyone. They will tell you." Well, WPDE thinks Vernell Jones is really good. He's headed to the Shrine Bowl, and he's a Zoneman candidate. Our next nominee for Player of the Year is Conway quarterback Durand Lawson. Lawson has thrown 25 TD passes, setting a single-season school record.
It's a great honor for me to represent my school, my community, and my teammates, and to be one of the 4 finalists for the Zoneman.
Lawson can beat you with his feet or with his left arm. He's run for nearly 1,000 yards and thrown for almost 2,000 more. Lawson says his grandmother, along with head coach Chuck Jordan, had the biggest influences on his life.
I was raised in West Virginia, and my grandmother, I lived with her for a while, and I love my grandmother to death.
Lawson stands 6 feet tall and weighs only 175 pounds. He's in the National Honor Society and active in his church. Conway defensive end Karibi Gauze is a fellow all-zone selection.
Duran means a lot to me. He's my cousin, and he's a quarterback. He loves the game of football, and I think he plays well.
Why is Lawson proficient at the quarterback position? Listen to Conway head coach Chuck Jordan.
He doesn't ever try to take credit for himself. He always deflects credit to other people. And yet he continues to perform game in and game out. I think Duran has a unique ability to throw and run as well. He's got a great arm strength, and I think particularly great accuracy on the long ball.
While Lawson is serious on Friday nights, there's another side to the man who wears number 7.
Yeah, he like to also scare people too some nights. Walk around with a mask on and stuff at home and stuff. Go to people's window and knock on it, and just like to fool around.
Duran Lawson has been selected to play for the South Squad in the North-South All-Star game. He's also a WPDE Zoneman candidate. Now it's on to Wilson High to check out the area's #1 college recruit, Wilson linebacker and wide receiver Lawrence Timmons. Hard to believe, as a freshman, he was admittedly a 140-pound weakling.
Well, people said I couldn't do it. I was too puny. I was a punk and all this good stuff. And I had my mindset that I was going to play football and be best at it as I can.
Now, Timmons stands 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighs 225 pounds. He brings thunder with his hits. Timmons is the area's second leading tackler with 139 for the season.
I just think when you first play a game, like if you got a real big, good running back, just hit him the first time, you don't have to really worry about him no more.
Teammate Andrew Gibson says there's one night he'll never forget.
My sophomore year, played against Midland Valley in the second round of playoffs. We need a big hit to come up. He got a big hit, and man fumbled. We matched the third round. That was one of my best moments with him. Knowing a smile, a smirk. You'll get a smirk from L Square. He's not really a joker, but he get the job done.
Well, we started calling him L Square because when he was in the 9th grade, he used to play receiver with a cowboy collar when he was number 95. And he used to do all kind of crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying? We used to be going halfway, and he was always going full speed, knocking people out. So we used to start calling him L Square as he was kind of slow.
Timmons carries a 3.2 GPA. Nearly every major school in the country has made offers.
Well, I'm looking for how the coaches are, what's it like living around there, and just the college life. And I want my top 5 are Florida State, Florida, Tennessee, Michigan, and Maryland.
Timmons says head coach Darryl Page taught him how to be a man. Former Zoneman finalist Justin Durant schooled him on how to play linebacker.
Oh yes, sir. He taught me how to use my hands and read the O-line and just play.
Timmons also led the area with more than 800 receiving yards. He had 5 touchdown catches. While most schools are recruiting him as a linebacker, Michigan believes he'd make a great wide receiver. Coach Page discovered Timmons' greatness one fall afternoon more than 2 years ago.
He was kind of having a lackluster practice, and it was a defensive day, and I mean, I really chewed him from one end to the other. I just can't repeat what I said, but the next play, the intensity, all the fire, seemed like it came out of this guy, and right then and there, I knew he was special.
Zoneman finalist Lawrence Timmons is headed to the Shrine Bowl. From the biggest to the smallest, 5'8" West Florence running back Quentin Young. He smashed the 2,000-yard rushing milestone for the first time in school history, leading the Knights to their best season ever.
When I get in position
I think like nobody could stop me. I mean, I don't care who you is, 6'5", 300, it don't matter. I run hard, I run my heart out. When that ball snap, I ain't tired. I mean, it's still fun, whatever you gotta do. Ain't that right?
Young has an unusual style. He can bang with the big boys up the middle or dance down the field and run away from defenders with his 4.38 clocking in the 40. His speed gave way to his nickname.
When he runs, it's just like a cheetah. It's like fast.
The Cheetah is legendary in 3A football as a comedian.
He goofs off 24/7, except for Friday nights. He's all serious on Friday nights.
Quinton Young is a tough customer. After suffering a knee injury against Wilson, he played the final month of the season with a knee brace. Coach Jeff Calabrese has transformed West Florence from doormats into winners. Quinton Young is a big reason why the Knights have made the playoffs 2 consecutive seasons.
I think he should win the Zoneman because, quite frankly, I think what he's done for our football team, I think he's the best player in the area. I mean, there's some great players. Don't get me wrong. Lawrence Timmons is outstanding. Duran Lawson, Tootie Boot. But what he's done for this football team, I mean, we're not as talented as some of those teams. For the way he's carried for over 2,000 yards, 7.5 yards a carry, I mean, that's why he would get my vote.
I gotta have it. I just gotta have it. I want it. I know they done total up the votes, but may the best man wins.
Now it's time to reveal the winner of the Zoneman. Is it Wilson's Lawrence Timmons? How about Conway's Duran Lawson? Or Lakeview's Vernell Jones? Or did Quinton Young get his wish? Who is the Zoneman for 2003? The big moment has arrived.
Mark Haggard, thanks so much. When we return, the 2003 Zoneman. Welcome back. It's time now to present the 2003 Zoneman. For the past 3 years, the Zoneman has had just one home, Bennettsville, Marlborough County, starting with Tymer Zimmerman, followed by back-to-back years by Savell Newton, now at the University of South Carolina. 41 ballots for the Zoneman, 33 area coaches, 8 local media. They voted first, second, and third. And in the closest balloting ever, the 2003 Zoneman winner is going to Wilson High School in Florence. Lawrence Timmons wins the 2003 Zoneman. Lawrence, congratulations. And as someone who has seen this award show for the past 3 years, you kind of had an idea what the Zoneman was all about. What does it mean for you to win this award?
It means a lot. I went through a lot of hard work, and I think I earned it. And I just like to say thank you to my coach and my parents and all my teammates.
What does it mean to be standing on the podium with the 3 guys behind you? This was the closest balloting ever. All 4 guys received a lot of first-place votes, and it became a great arguing point of who the best guy was, and you can make a case for all 4 of you.
Mm-hmm. Well, all of them are good players, and I'm just glad I came out to win it.
Well, let's go to the man who finished second in the balloting, Vernell Jones, Tootie Boot, who doesn't like to be interviewed, but maybe you could just say a couple of words. I'm sure you want to thank some folks in Lakeview.
He did good, and he won it, and he did a good.
My man Tootie Boot does his talking on the field, and we've had so much fun watching you for the past 4 years. Congratulations. Duran Lawson out of Conway, what a marvelous career. 3 state championships, and you join George Goss and Alan Patrick as Zoneman finalists. That's pretty good company.
Yeah, Alan Patrick and George Goss were both very good players at Conway High, and I just want to congratulate Lawrence Timmons. If I would have had the vote, he would have got my vote.
Well, Duran Lawson continues his career with nothing but class. Not surprised there. And the Cheetah, Quinton Young. You stole the show in your interview, but I know you said Lawrence Timmons won this before the show, didn't you?
Yeah, I told you, man. I mean, like Duran said, I'm stuttering, man. I knew he was going to win it already, man. Like I said, he would have got my vote, too. I mean, great linebacker, great receiver, and he deserved it.
Well, we have 4 amazing guys here, and they're going to add to the legacy. Congratulations to all of them. And that will do it for this edition of the End Zone. We'll be back next year, and another chapter in the legacy will begin. For the entire WPDE sports team, I'm Rich Krampanis. We'll see you January 9th for the season premiere of the Hoop Zone.